Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Buckets. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers, so your subscription would be much appreciated. But yeah, it is hot takes, let's get into it. The Lakers, fully healthy, if matched against the Nuggets, are the favorites in that series. I do really like this Lakers team, and I also do think they have a pretty favorable matchup against the Denver Nuggets, and if they were fully healthy for like a strong stretch of time going into that matchup, yeah, I could see, I don't know about favorites, but I could see the Lakers winning that one. But given that LeBron, if he even is back, will be getting back in a tight window before the playoffs even begin, if not just starting off in the playoffs, that is going to make things difficult. Not to mention, I don't know how much I want to bank on D'Lo and Malik Beasley in the playoffs because they can be super duper inconsistent, and AD's injury stuff, all that. You do mention health though, so I guess I can't really use that one. Yeah, I mean, I do think they could win, and that's not a knock on the Nuggets. It's just how much I like this Lakers team a lot, because I really like the Nuggets too. But this team, I think that's a favorable matchup for the Lakers if they had played basketball together for like 2 months with everybody healthy. But not having that continuity, I think, is one of the more underrated things in basketball. I think players constantly being in and out of lineups with injuries ultimately severely deflates the potential a team has. And in the case of the Los Angeles Lakers, that's exactly what will probably happen, and the result will be the Nuggets winning. LeBron, MJ, Hakeem, Kawhi, and Wade are the top 5 playoff risers in NBA history, players who play notably better in the playoffs versus the regular season. There's one other name that I would throw in there, and there's another name, ironically, that I think might be in that conversation if he continues the trend. The one I want to refer to is Reggie Miller. If we're just talking purely being better in the playoffs than you are in the regular season, Reggie Miller might be the best playoff riser ever. Because if you take a look at his like peak regular season numbers versus his peak playoff numbers, it's like a big difference in points per game and efficiency, especially in certain years. Like I think there are years where he averaged like 19 in the regular season and like 28 in a year where they made it like deep into the playoffs. So he is definitely on that list, and I would probably put him over Bron and MJ. Definitely both elevate, but if you look at their box score stats, it's not that significant of an elevation. Obviously, I trust those two more than anybody else in a playoff setting, but just if we're just talking purely being better than you are in the regular season, I feel like Reggie is even higher than those two. I'd have to take a look at Hakeem's numbers versus the regular season because I'm not too familiar. I obviously understand Kawhi and Dwayne Wade's, but yeah. Anyways, the other player that I'd throw in there is one in recent history who has had such ridiculous playoff elevation, and that is Donovan Mitchell. His playoff numbers are ludicrous. In fact, let me go ahead and pull them up just to make this point. We're just going to factor in Utah for his career here. If you look at his 5 seasons in Utah, 24 points per game, and if we go to the advanced stats, 56% true shooting, and let's just see, about 36% from 3 on 8 attempts per game. We go to the playoffs, all in Utah obviously, 28 points per game. His assists and rebounds go up. He goes up to being well, I guess it's just a 37% three-point shooter on 9 attempts. With the volume slightly higher, but the percentage isn't that different. And then playoffs advanced 56. So I thought the efficiency difference was actually more there than it is. In fact, I think it's really last year that's throwing me off here, because if we just take a look at the first 4 years, he is at 29 points per game on 40% from 3, and his true shooting percentage is 3% better. So that's, I guess, the last year kind of deflated that a little bit when they those numbers are not as amazing. But we're talking about 29 points on marginally better efficiency versus 24, and it's better rebounds and assists as well. 5 point per game jump is pretty significant, especially given that some of those years he actually went, at least 10 games into the postseason. He has the year, of course, in 2020 versus Denver, where he averaged freaking 36 points per game. And the run in 2021, I think, was probably the most impressive over 2 different series, and he averaged 32, 6, and 4. But yeah, enough on that point. Giannis is higher on my MVP ladder than Joel Embiid. I think that's entirely fair. Ironically, my MVP ladder is like all kinds of twisted up right now. I really think all 3 of Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic have such strong cases. I'm leaning towards Embiid lately. If I wasn't going to go Embiid, I'd probably go Giannis. And then Jokic has gone from first to third because Giannis and Embiid have elevated their games in the last few weeks of the season, while Jokic has not. And the wins have been down for the Nuggets. And I do think that this race will come down to the last 15 games or so. And it seems like while the other 2 are trying to ramp things up, one of them is trying to ramp things down. If everything goes right, the Nuggets will have the easiest path to get to the finals. Yeah, if you take a look at the Western Conference and really how much seeding truly matters here, like, there are not a lot of big threats that come Phoenix's way. I think the biggest threat that could potentially get in their way would be Phoenix, but I also think there's a huge chance Phoenix loses in round 1 because of just the lack of continuity with Kevin Durant there. Yeah, Denver does have a pretty good path, for sure. The Suns are not a better playoff team by adding KD. Their rotations will not be strong enough to go against the deep rosters in the West. I think that's ridiculous. Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges, obviously fantastic talents that contributed a lot to the Phoenix Suns. However, Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant, and suggesting that a playoff team is worse because they got Kevin Durant is silly to me. I'm like Kevin Durant's biggest hater, and that's silly to me. No, having KD is better than not having KD, even if it comes at the subtraction of 2 really good wings. Jayson Tatum will never be a top 3 player. He has to compete with Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid right now, and will have to compete with Ja, Victor Wembanyama, Luka, and others in a couple of years. Me personally, I don't think Ja will ever be better than Jayson Tatum. I don't think he is now, and I don't think he will ever be. But Victor, complete wild card. We don't know. We haven't seen him in the NBA. But like, I could see a case that like Luka, Giannis, and Jokic are for sure better than Jayson Tatum for the next like 5 years. Joel Embiid, I don't know if he's gonna be on this level forever because I continue to be worried that just injuries are going to derail his career. I'd love to be wrong about that. He's obviously been much better lately. But I could see him being a little bit better than Embiid, but Embiid's been so. But yeah, I do think I agree with the take overall, regardless of the logistics of who's in front of him. Luka and Giannis especially are like just gonna be so solidly in the top 3 for the next decade that like maybe the 3rd spot will be opened up 1 year or 2. Maybe he gets in there by default of players being injured, but that's it. Yeah. The Timberwolves will be the surprise of the West. Well, if you did manage to get Karl Anthony Towns acclimated and fitting into that system really fast, I could see that giving them a boost. But overall, I think they go as far as Anthony Edwards is capable of taking them. And as much as I like Ant, I don't know that he's quite ready to shoulder leading a team single-handedly, at least offensively, to the playoffs. Mike Conley has been there and has been good. He just dropped a career high in threes versus the Chicago Bulls. J-Mac has been better lately too and going for his own offense more, kind of to make up for the difference of not having Cat there. But overall, I don't think that they will surprise that many people. Maybe they make the 2nd round, but if they made the conference finals, yeah, that'd be surprising. But I don't see it happening. But yeah, that was Hot Takes. Bye.